Hello, Robert James Fremantle here, and with an update of a different kind this time. Because for those of you that have followed me for a while, you'll know that we've done Dark Heresy vidcasts before. Now, this is going to be back onto the subject of Dark Heresy, but not with the same party and not the same campaign. Huh? What's going on? Firstly, let's look at the old Dark Heresy campaign. Well, it's still sitting where it was. We don't know what's going to be happening next with it, whether we'll be able to come back to it. So, you know, I'm just having a look at that wallpaper behind. It's not cool. I'm going to shift this way because I remember someone saying, it's too loud on my eyes. Right, okay. You know, fair enough. Sit here like this and I obscure some of it. Right, so anyway, getting back onto that, I still don't know if we're going to go back to it. We'd be finishing off the books if we did. But anyway, the opportunity came up to be able to play an online campaign. So Laurie and I went for that, and we were going to roll new characters, start with 750 experience instead, so effectively coming in as rank 2s for this. And the team would be comprised of Laurie and myself, so both from the UK. A guy called Than, who I'm not quite fully sure where he's from which country, because I heard that we were going to have someone possibly from Germany and someone possibly from Greece. So he speaks very good English, though, wherever he's from. We've got somebody from America. Her name is Anya, and we have the GM, who is Swedish. So all the different time zones, and someone else who should be coming eventually to join the group. Very strange. So we all had to look at trying to find days that are convenient, and I already game with my live physical group on a Sunday. So at the moment it's kind of looking like it might be Mondays. And we looked at Roll20. Now, if you haven't already heard of it, but you're interested in the idea of playing online together, then check out a website called Roll20. I think it's like roll20.com, you know, the number 20. And if you just Google it, you'll see it anyway. It's a way of GMs being able to create a map and tokens that you can all interact with, and it seems very exciting as an opportunity, but a bit buggy still here and there. At present, we ran a few tests together as a group, saw how we were going to try and communicate, got a Skype call going, and then decided, do you know, once we actually do this campaign, which is going to be all pretty much completely created by Robin, the GM. So not really anything that's modular, except maybe one in there, he said. The rest would all be homemade. So we'd all have to try and meet of a Monday, and either weekly or fortnightly from there, depending on people's work situations and availability. But a very sort of loose thing, and we haven't played together before. But Robin found myself through actually doing this channel, so it's funny, isn't it? You can do things and meet people through the things you do, and sort of suggested that we do that, and I said, well, it would be nice, seeing as I do a YouTube channel anyway in vidcasts, if we could somehow put those out live, because I know a lot of other guys do it. It'd be a wasted opportunity if we can't. Well, first meeting was last night, and the massive intent was to get it out on a Google Hangouts. However, there seemed to be a bug which the Roll20 GM was looking into, that when you were trying to have Google Hangouts open in one tab and Roll20 open in another tab independently, it was making the fog of war element that the GM can control not work. And when we went in and spoke via Skype instead, it did work. Now, Roll20 does have its own streaming service set up with it, Apparently the guy that can deal with all of that wasn't able to come that night, so yeah, the ideal would be to get it out. So we've had one session go already of this. Interesting stuff, and I plan absolutely to try and cover what happened, at least by way of vidcast, and then hopefully by the time we get ready to actually go again on the next session, we should be able to actually put this out live. But we had an awful lot of fun. So I'm just going to start things off by telling you about my character. I won't be giving you the full vidcast recap here in this video. This is just the announcement to make you aware. So my character is called Solomon Sacra or Sacra Holocaustos, and it essentially means burnt offerings, his name. So he's a cleric, a redemptionist. Now you're seeing the link, you see. He's got a flamer. Robin didn't want me to start with the full-on flamer, so he wanted me to downgrade that. It's the redemptionist path that you can see. Blood of Martyrs, I think it is. The one with the Sister of Battle and all that. The redemptionist is a sub-cleric rank 1 sub-option, and he said that he wanted me to go with the hand flamer instead, so it's a 10 meter instead of 20 meter spread of flame, clip of 2 instead of 3, but he also wants to up down the damage to 1d10 plus 2 instead of 1d10 plus 4. So I said, no, that's fine, whatever, I don't care. Yeah, sure. So it's just a balancing thing. Whatever. He's worried about it sort of being broken in the early levels, so to speak. So anyway, my character's a cleric. He's a redemptionist. The backstory actually goes that he was the secret love child, the bastard-born son of a very high-ranking redemptionist cult leader on Necromunda. What happened was they were trying to get rid of him anyway and cover him up, which left him very not well secured indeed. And the Inquisition, or some arm thereof of intelligence, kidnapped him, took him away, took him to another planet to train and be brought up. Veneris, in this case. And on Veneris, he was secretly monitored. So he was always being trained in preparation to become an acolyte, but he doesn't know that his whole life has been manipulated, and he doesn't know what his actual lineage is. But he was still found the way of the redemptionists. So it's in his genes, as is this way of sort of agitating trouble in crowds. But you see, the Inquisition, having taken him and brought him up for their uses, have decided, well, you know, he's going to be a mad guy, but he's going to be our mad guy. We can insert him to our advantage when we want something kicked up. When we want a riot to cover something else up, you know, this is the agitator we send in to start preaching to the crowds and send them mad. Because usually, you know, the Inquisition would be coming in investigating riots. You know, it's normally the cause of something else. But if something really, really bad was going on and they had to pull the wall under the planet's eyes or something, or maybe it's a corrupted planet with corrupted officials, and the people need to actually actively overthrow those officials, so that would be the ideal sort of place for him to come in and again stir up trouble. So yes, he's a nutter with a flamer, and he's a real psychopath. That's really his thing. He's a real crazy. You know, life is a sacrifice. He's got a certain manner about him that he doesn't like any comfort, and he wants to sit in the least comfortable seat at all times. And other than his flamer, he's also got a barbed whip. And it's not just the enemy that would taste that whip, it would be him himself. You know, he'd wrap it around his arm and pull it tight as a penance, and wear a garter of sharp blades. And his backstory ties into Laurie's character as well, who is a guardsman called Darius. And Darius was posted on Veneris at a particular point. And Veneris is a planet that is known as having the venerated statues of the saints, the different high figures, and indeed the emperor himself. Just huge, massive statues that are carved out of a mountain, so they are like the size of a mountain. And there was this one occasion when a Chaos force tried to overtake the central city port and control all traffic coming in. It's not a particularly important planet as far as amenities go, but it's one of the known accepted planets on the standard pilgrimage through the sector that is taken. So it gets a lot of holy traffic because of the wondrous sights there to behold. Anyway, yes, this particular time, these Chaos forces were more sort of cultists rather than warriors. They didn't have anybody like rogue Astartes there, but some of the populace had been changed and mutants popped up, and lots of cultists had come out of the ground somewhere, and they tried to take over the planet. And so they swept in towards the city port, and they'd basically lured most of the security detail away from the city port into a major fight where they made their numbers look larger, hid behind a bastion, and then basically pulled out and left a lot of automated fire going to make it look as if they are still there in huge number defending. And of course, the guardsmen in that position press forward eventually, capture the zone after bombarding it, and find there's a skeleton force here. How is that? What's going on? And then they get radioed, voxed, saying the spaceport is under attack. A huge contingent is coming straight for us across the plains, and there's no one there to stop them. And Laurie's character, Darius, is one of the guardsmen who is still stationed at the spaceport, but there is just standard security there. There's nowhere near enough to actually stop this small army from overthrowing the spaceport. So my character Solomon is just standing there watching, and Darius is standing there watching. And at that point, as they draw towards the spaceport, they both witness a miracle. And this is the miracle that ties their fate together. The massive statue of St. Drusus didn't appear to be unstable in any way, but simply began cracking and wavering on the spot. And there, with sword drawn in one hand and finger pointing forward, accusedly, sort of as if to say, I'm judging you too, judge yourself by your actions as I shall judge you. The statue toppled. Now effectively it's the size of a mountain. So it gave out, just snapped away, the whole thing, and just fell forwards, straight into the oncoming Chaos forces. Smashes, splinters out into the forces, just sends them this way, that way, and every way. And then, the crazy thing, the hand, the pointing finger, just accusedly bouncing along the ground and tearing through them until it shatters up and pulls apart, and chunks of masonry are blowing guys this way and that way, and it scatters the enemy, sends them into complete retreat, and the revolt gets pulled apart then piecemeal. The spaceport was saved. It was a miracle. Or again, it's one of those things. It's like, was it really a miracle? Okay, was it sanctioned by the God Emperor himself, those actions, or was it just one of those coincidences that the superstitious people of this time attribute to a miracle? that's kind of the beauty of it. The beauty of it is not answering that question. Just like you wouldn't really know. You just leave that out there and say, well, that's what it happens. But these ignorant people, they will take it that way. Oh, it's a sign. It's a miracle. And they see this beautiful thing, and it actually turns the Guardsman into a Blessed Faith guy. So he then undertakes ecclesiarchy-based monastic study along with his normal martial study, with the viewpoint, I guess, of ending up as a drill abbot. Quite respects the drill abbots that oversaw him, and he would quite like to maybe go into that. I think that's a rank 5 thing. So yeah, we got effectively a guardsman here who has unlocked the faith talents. So I was like, Guardsman Faith. Well, let's see. If we give you a power sword or something, or a hammer, you'll be a paladin. He's got the the buffing talents and such. Oh dear. It's like, oh no, it wouldn't be a paladin, because you can do things like, I don't know, negate fear in others. Wait a minute. Alright, well, something like devastate evil presences. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. And so on. Yeah, well, anyway, yeah, he's going to play the first 40k Paladin, and don't mean a Grey Knight. And as for the rest of the team, well, who is that? Well, of the ones that I know so far, we have an assassin. He's a cutty, slicey, crazy guy. He's got his sheathed blades and knives, and he looks like he's basically sent off for one of those whole kitchen sets, and he just carries, slices straight through tomatoes in one go. None of these patterns. I wonder if they have one of those consumer TV things in the 40k universe. That would be good, wouldn't it, on some sort of digi hollow box television. Slices straight through heretic necks in one go. Well, you could imagine, like, Sillet bang, couldn't you? Bang! And the heretic's gone. Illicit bang. You can hear meowing behind me, by the way. This is Leo. It's a interactive cat. Interactive kitten. Hello! I'm Interactive Kitten. This is Interactive Kitten, isn't it? Oh, he's trying to struggle. Oh, Leo. Little Leo. Come on, little man, do you want down? Anyway, this is Leo. Rah! That was Leo. Hello. Right. Okay then. So, he's just making a lot of noise behind me, so that's what's causing it. It's not like an alarm that's gone off, unless it's like a food alarm, a feed me alarm. He's got food down. You just want my cheese rolls, don't you? This cat is more like a dog. It wants to eat everything. It's like, yeah, I'll have some cheese. You want some cheese? You're cutting cheese. I'll eat the cheese. I'll eat the cheese. Don't leave the room. I'll jump up there and I'll eat half the packet of the cheese. I'm crazy. I'm crazy for a kitten, me. So yes, we have an assassin. He's got some sort of crazy dark background to him. And we have a sanctioned psyker. So that's all nice. Now, the Redemptionist isn't going to have a problem with her, as the GM feared. And here's the reason why. Because yes, we talked to hate the psyker and blah, 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 blah. An unsanctioned one, yes. But this particular guy, Solomon, his feeling is that the sanctioned psyker is one of the most purest people in the Imperium. Because, in fact, to be someone purer, perhaps, than even him. Because a sanctioned psyker, as part of the process of becoming sanctioned, has stood before the Emperor on Holy Terror. That's how it's done. Yeah, so basically the ships will take you there for one reason or the other. You know what I'm saying? To Terror. Yeah, you're either going to get fed into the big Emperor pot and become Emperor stew. Psycho juice. or you'll go into the approval queue and have to stand before the Emperor and let his eminence gaze upon you, his corpsey self, and then whatever that will do to you, just even trying to look at him with your eyes tends to blind you. A lot of them, sanctioned psyker, end up blind, but this one isn't blind. She's got some other symptoms and effects. But basically, because she didn't die, she's been judged by the Emperor, you know. The Emperor's been able to decide, well, that's fine, you know. I'll test you. She's been tested and approved by the Emperor himself. Who is Solomon to state that she should not be serving the Imperium? You know, he would not doubt the will of the Emperor himself, so won't mention a word of it. And of course there's going to be another team member as well that I don't know. So these guys have all come together as Cell 2, I think under the Ordo Xenos. So we'll see how that works out in the first vidcast on that to come. And I'm going to try and be brief with it, and, you know, as per the vidcast style. But the thing is, hopefully, I'd love to see the live episodes of this actually going out. So it's just a hope that we'll be able to actually bring you that. So until the next update on this has been Robert James Fremantle giving you all the news on what we're doing next with Dark Heresy in other venues and places and around the world. See you at the gaming table.